Let me be very, very clear with you. You have zero excuse not to start your podcast. It took me a year to start my podcast. The entire time I was overthinking, giving myself every reason why I couldn't start my own show. I wasn't smart enough. I wasn't old enough. I didn't have the equipment. I don't know how to get guests. How do I even record? Over and over again. But in the back of my mind, I knew I wanted to become a pro podcaster. But I put it off and I put it off. And finally, when I was walking home one day, something just clicked and I was like, you're starting it tomorrow. And as soon as I started, I figured things out along the way. And fast forward 4 months, and I'm Europe's fastest growing under 21 podcaster. I've got over 4 million views across all social media platforms. I've recorded over 50 plus episodes with best-selling authors, CEOs, leading academics, including SpaceX co-founder Jim Cantrell. And I'm now monetized on YouTube. And I've got over 50,000 listeners on YouTube alone. All because I started, I turned my brain off and planned and corrected course along the way and figured it out as I went along. And that was after a year of procrastinating. Imagine where I'd be right now if I started when I first thought of becoming a podcaster. And you're in the same situation right now. You've been thinking about starting a podcast for months, for years, maybe even a decade, and you haven't done it yet. But I'm living proof that if you do it and just figure it out along the way, you will get results super fast. So I'm going to go through every limiting belief that you probably have that's stopping you from starting a podcast, and I'm going to disprove it so you can start your own podcast literally after watching this video. And if you're still stuck and you want the exact step-by-step blueprint, top link in the description and all the secrets are there. But let's go through the limiting beliefs now. So, and if you don't believe me, by the way, check my main channel. It's attached to this video because I've been getting a few jabby comments that don't believe me. So yeah, main channels with all the proof is attached there. So the first limiting belief is I can't get guests. How do I get guests on my podcast? Well, if you live in the middle of nowhere like I do, you don't have many options. And if you don't have loads of money to fly out to guests and connect with them that way in person, then there's only one option for you, and it's remote recording. Luckily for us, it's not 2010, and we have software directly made just for this process. It's called Riverside.fm. It's basically like Zoom, but specifically for recording a podcast. In fact, I'm using it to record my audio right now. All you need to do is download Riverside FM, $20 a month. I'm not sponsored. It's genuinely the one I use, and podcasts like Tim Ferriss and Modern Wisdom use to connect with guests remotely. And it allows you to connect with a guest on the other side of the planet, and will allow you to get way more big name guests because they don't have to do anything other than press a button and hop on a call with you for an hour. It's super high leverage, and it's the reason why I've been able to record with over 50 plus high performing guests, most of which have been in America and I've been in the UK. So if you don't think you can get guests on your podcast, then that is belief number one destroyed. All you need to do is download Riverside FM and then find the guest email, send them an email, invite them on the show, and then you just send them the link and record that way. And if you want to know the exact email tactics I use to get me a 10 to 20% conversion rate, I send 100 emails, 20 guests say yes to come on, which is super high in this industry. Then top link in the description for that. And the next limiting belief that you probably have that's stopping you from starting your own podcast is, well, how do I edit? I don't know how to edit a podcast. I'm not a video editor. You can either outsource it to someone who knows how to edit, which is quite expensive. And let me be real, if you're just starting your own podcast, you probably don't have the cash to do that. But if you do, outsource it to an editor on Fiverr or search up a pro podcast editor on the internet and you'll find some. But if you don't have that option and you need the best alternative, then download Descript FM. It's a all-in-one video editing software that uses AI to help you generate clips, improve your sound quality, and so simple. And to be honest, for a podcast, you don't actually need to do that much editing. You could literally just use the Riverside FM footage of your laptop webcam and the audio that you recorded through there and post it, and it will still do pretty well. It still has a high chance of doing well, especially when you're just starting. But if you're slightly more advanced and you want it to be super high quality, then I would highly, highly recommend using Riverside Descript as your editing platform. And it's all in one. It helps you export the audio, export the video for Apple and for Spotify and for YouTube. And it uses AI to do a lot of the heavy lifting for you, like removing super long word gaps or removing all the waffle if you want to make it tightly edited. But like I said, you don't need to do too much editing. I just use it to create the titles, the YouTube descriptions, and polish up your audio. So that is number 2 destroyed. And another limiting belief that you probably have is I can't ask good questions. What do I ask the guest? How do I ask good questions? Well, you prep. You spend a few hours before your recording searching the guest, using AI to do deep research on them to find out their expertise and what they've done, what they've experienced. You ask questions based on that and you add them to an Apple Notes folder. If you're recording remotely, you can put the Apple Notes on your screen and you can read off the questions and they don't even know you're doing it. It's not that hard. Just genuinely ask questions that you want to know. And if you're super stuck on questions, then get AI to ask some questions based on the guest's expertise if you're that stuck, but that's a last resort. And what you end up finding is the more episodes you do, the less prepared questions you ask. So I had Dr. Colin Ross come on last week. I prepared my classic 10 to 30 questions for him. I think I asked about 5 because you ask one question and it goes down a tangent and then you ask follow-up questions spontaneously. Like, motherfucker, you're a human. You know how to ask questions. You've been in conversation with people before. Just ask what comes up to your mind and what you want to know more about. Don't overthink it. You're meant to be there to just sit, listen, and ask questions. And your next limiting belief might be, well, where do I publish it? You got to publish it on YouTube because YouTube is the best place to reach a new audience. It's the second largest search engine in the world, and it will get you hundreds of views very, very quickly, maybe even thousands. I've got one video with the SpaceX co-founder, Jim Cantrell, on 50,000 views and counting, which has helped me get monetized. Again, it's also monetization. All you need is 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours in the last year, and then you're monetized. Then you're getting paid to post content. It's that good. So definitely post on YouTube and then obviously post on Apple. But how do you post on Apple? You need to get an RSS feed. I won't go into the details of that, but basically just follow this advice. Buy RSS.com, which is £5 to £10 per month. That will allow you to post it on Apple Podcasts, which is one of the largest podcast hosts apps in the world still. And then also allow you to post it automatically to loads of other ones like Podsqueeze, like Overcast, like Deezer as well, Amazon. Lets you post it everywhere basically and all around the world with one click of a button. You just have to upload it once and it goes to all of those. It distributes it across everywhere. So download rss.com to do that and then upload it to Spotify because Spotify is super popular and it's getting better with its organic reach as well. So yeah, that's where you publish it to. And then I'd also do clips as well of your podcast using Descript software that creates clips for you on Apple, posting the clips on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube Shorts, places like that. And then the next limiting belief is I'm not smart enough to start a podcast. I'm not intellectual enough. Your job as a podcaster is to be the most stupid person in the room, especially if you're positioning yourself as an intellectual podcast who gets leading guests on the show. You're there to ask stupid questions. Your job is to ask stupid questions, not ignorant questions like you haven't been listening, but questions that are probably a bit stupid that you want to know the answer to. You're not meant to be the smart guy. You're meant to give the guest the spotlight, give the guest the microphone and let them spit their expertise that your audience can learn from. You're just audience member number 1. You're just sitting back, listening and getting them to create, you're there to create a vibe and get them to answer awesome give them awesome answers to stupid questions, basically. Like, don't overthink it. Just ask what you want to ask and you'll actually get more and more smart the more episodes you do because you'll get more experts on and then you'll eventually become an expert yourself, just like Joe Rogan. Think about how much he knows from his podcast. He just asks stupid questions, 3 or 4 times a week, 10 hours a week for 20 years. And now he's actually very, very smart because of that. So don't overthink it. You don't need to be super smart. And most of the audience isn't going to understand what the guest is saying if you ask these super complex questions that you don't actually know So just ask stupid questions, ask what you want to ask what you don't understand, and you'll gain an audience from that because there'll be a lot of other people who would have wanted to ask the same question too. So don't overthink that. And then the next limiting belief which I had was, oh, I'm too young, because, we see these podcasters and they're 30, 40, 50, 60. But that doesn't matter. The younger you start, the more time you have to improve. The younger you are, the better. If you're 13 years old and you want to start a podcast, then start a podcast, because not many people are starting a podcast at 13 years old. Therefore, you're more unique. Therefore, you stand out. Therefore, you'll get a larger audience, because I've never listened to a 13-year-old podcaster asking these big name guest questions. So if you start that now, loads of people are going to like admire you for starting so young, and you have your unique take and unique perspective on the world at that age. And guests will be more than delighted to come onto your show and connect with the younger generation. So that's not an excuse. That's just a limiting belief. And the last one is, I don't have good equipment. I don't have a light. I don't have a camera. I don't have a microphone. What do I do? Well, if you just use Riverside FM, it records audio. You can use your AirPod audio. You can use your headset audio, or you can buy $100 USB microphone. This is $150, I think, Rode NT USB microphone. Sounds fine. And for the lighting, this is a $23 ring light. Those lights are about $10 each. And it looks pretty professional, right? I'm doing it in my bedroom and it doesn't sound echoey, does it? And I'm using camera because I'm a photographer. But if I didn't have a camera, I would just buy a cheap tripod on Amazon and use my phone, because your phone in your pocket, it records in 4K and HD. You don't need to buy all this fancy equipment. You could even use your laptop webcam. So equipment isn't the problem, my friend. The problem is you're procrastinating and you're deferring your dream of becoming a podcaster. If you want to know the step-by-step guidance and every tactic and mistake I've made and learned from, so you can do the same and avoid the mistakes and do it in half the amount of time and become a pro podcaster yourself, even from your bedroom, then top link in the description for my pro remote podcast blueprint. It goes through everything, and I mean everything, like the templates I use to get guests, how I use AI, how I create titles and thumbnails, the equipment I use, how I ask questions, how I get guests to come on, how you can get monetized, and the mentality you need. It has everything. And no other podcaster that I'm aware of has spilled out all their secrets that you can learn from, you can copy to become a pro podcaster yourself. So it's exactly what you need if you want to become the podcaster, which I know you do. If you're watching this, you want to become a podcaster. So if you want someone's advice, who's done it, who's been through it and has made the progress that you want to make, then just join the top link in the description, join my community. We're going to have a group of ambitious podcasters who hold you accountable and help you along the way. And you'll also be able to join live weekly calls with me, where I can give you personalized feedback on exactly what you need to do to start your own show. And it's half price right now. So the first 25 members will get it half price. As soon as member number 25 joins, I'm unfortunately going to double it. And it should be way more than it is, even when I do double it. So you're not missing out regardless. But if you're watching this, you're early, join the program. You won't regret it. You'll become a pro podcaster in no time, even if you're 13, even if you're 35, and you're doing it from your bedroom and you're doing it with just a laptop. Top link in the description, and I'll see you there. Goodbye.